Do you constantly find yourself thinking about, anticipating, worrying about stuttering? If so, this is what we call the stuttering mindset. And in this video series, I'm going to be sharing with you step 2 of how you can eliminate the stuttering mindset. So if you recall, in the first video or in the previous video, we talked about step 1. And we said that the way for you to eliminate, to overcome the stuttering mindset, it's that way of thinking where you are worrying about, where you're anticipating, where you have the sense that you know that you're going to get stuck, you know you're going to stutter, you know you're going to block. It's that mindset that diminishes, that reduces your confidence and increases the anxiety and the fear and the stress, right? So we talked about how to eliminate that, and we said that the first step is for you to become aware of when this happens, right? What are the situations in which you find yourself thinking and worrying and anticipating? Some of the situations are when you have to answer the phone. So for some people, as soon as the phone rings, all of a sudden, they get this sense, they get this feeling like there's a fear there, right? There's a, uh-oh, I have to answer the phone. And they might not verbalize this, but there's this fear that, uh-oh, got to answer the phone. I'm not going to be able to say hello. I'm not going to be able to say my name or the name of the company or whatever it is, right? It just happens instantly, habitually. Or when you have to introduce yourself. So as soon as you know that there's a situation in which you have to give your name, it could be a meeting where they're going around the table and they're introducing themselves, or any other kind of situation where you have to give your name, ordering coffee. Immediately, as soon as you know that that's going to happen, as soon as it comes into your awareness, you get this feeling that, uh-oh, I'm going to have problems with this. This is what we call the stuttering mindset, and it's working against you. So we're not saying that there isn't a neurological issue here. What we're saying is that the mindset exacerbates that. It causes that neurological deficiency to actually activate itself, to become a reality far more than it needs to be. So by eliminating the stuttering mindset, what you're going to find is you're going to put yourself on a pathway where you feel more confident, you speak much smoother, and you're able to say what you want to say when you want to say it. So the first step was to become aware of when this happens, right? What's going on? What are the situations in which this mindset takes over? How am I feeling? What sense do I have? What am I thinking? What am I saying to myself, right? And then I ask you to go ahead and jot some of those situations, those observations down. In the second step, we're going to be talking about how you can set a goal, right? And I'm going to call it something else, but essentially it's you're setting a goal for how you want to speak. Now, let me explain. In order for you to say what you want to say, when you want to say it, smoothly, clearly, and confident, you have to know what that looks like. What does it feel like? It's not just a matter, it's not just enough of you saying, I want to stop stuttering, I want to stop blocking, or I want to be able to do. You need to be very specific and say, I want to start speaking smoother. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use the word smooth or smoothly or smoother as the definition that encompasses everything. That is fluency, clearly, relaxed manner, calmly, confidently. We're just going to use the word smoothly. And sometimes I'll use other words, but smoothly will be our key word, our primary word. So by defining the way you want to speak and then creating a goal, which we're going to call an implementation intention, right? An implementation intention. And there's 2 versions of this, if you will, that we'll discuss today that will help you to define how you want to speak and then to begin to implement that on a regular basis. Because we're talking about this mindset being an habitual way, a pattern, a way of thinking. So what we have to do is we have to change this way of thinking and by creating a new way of thinking so that your new way of thinking takes over and you're no longer anticipating answering the phone, introducing yourself, giving a presentation. You're no longer thinking about that in a negative way. You're actually excited about it. You want to do it. One of my clients just told me this past week, that now he is excited and that he really enjoys giving presentations, okay? So what this process can do for you is it can cause you to like and even love doing something that you used to hate doing and allow you to do it very well, okay? So we're going to call this a proactive speaking implementation intention. Proactive speaking, because we're talking about speech now. Implementation intention. The other side of this is what we call habit stacking, and you can look those things up. They're very well researched. Habit stacking. We're going to talk more about habit stacking than implementation intention. So what is an implementation intention? It's simply this. It is your intentions. This is what I want to do. This is my goal. I am going to implement this action or this behavior. So for example, you can say, I will, or whenever I introduce myself, I will remember to relax. That's just a simple one, right? When I introduce myself, I will remember to relax. Or when I answer the phone in the morning, I will take a breath and blend my words. When I answer the phone in the morning, I will take a breath and blend my words, right? So that's an example. It's something that you've decided to do. It has a specific time and place to it, right? You can say when I answer the phone, you can say when I answer the phone in my office in the morning, I will take a breath and blend my words, right? So let's break this down. We have the implementation intention. This is something that I decided to implement, to do. And then we have what we call habit stacking. Habit stacking is simply you're already doing something habitually. We're going to stack another habit inside of it. We're going to stack another habit inside of it. Here's what this will look like. I'm going to give you some very specific examples. Let's use the example of answering the phone and having to introduce yourself. Or let's use the example of introducing yourself, okay? So, and we've talked about this before, but we're going to format it in a very, very specific way. So you can say, whenever I introduce myself, I will breathe, relax, and use introductory words to blend my name. Or you could say, whenever I introduce myself, I will breathe and use introductory words to blend my name with. Now here's what that means. For example, many people, when people ask them their names, they believe falsely that they just have to give their name, Michael Williams. So I'm ordering coffee. Sir, what's your name? Michael Williams. Right? So they believe that's the only way that everyone else around them, they think, is just giving their name and that's it. And so that's what they have to do. And if they don't do it, it feels strange. So using this habit stacking, you say, okay, whenever I introduce myself, I will breathe or take a breath and use introductory words to blend my name with. I know that that's not absolutely correct English because I have a with at the end, but it's the best way for me to put this. So that means I might say something like, oh yes, it's Michael Williams, or it's Michael Williams, if you want to use it's Michael Williams. Sure, it's Michael Williams. Okay, it's Michael Williams, right? So there's 1,000 things, there's 1,000 different ways, maybe not 1,000, but there's 1,000 different ways that I can actually very, very quickly say my name if I'm ordering coffee, right? So one of the things that I want to share with you is people who have fixed mindsets. Okay, this is the only way I can do it. What they've done is they're inflexible. They've cut off their options. And once you cut your options off, and once you have this inflexible way of thinking, you put additional and unnecessary pressure on yourself. And when you have this pressure, the pressure by itself can cause you to get stuck. It can prompt you to get stuck, okay? When you feel freer and more flexible, when you have more options, you reduce the pressure, and that alone can help you to say what you want to say, to speak smoothly. So when I know that there's several different ways I can say something, I don't feel the pressure, and then I can say it. I can say it any way I want to say it because the pressure's not there that I have to say it this way. So this implementation intention or habit stacking or habit stack says that whenever I introduce myself or whenever I say my name, I will breathe, use introductory words to blend my name with. Now, it's very important. I will breathe as opposed to cutting my breath off. I'll take a breath. You can even say, I'll take a breath and use introductory words. Introductory words, it's, yes, sure, my name is, whatever you want to do. And here's the important part, to blend my name with. So I won't just say, sure, pause, cut the air off, and then try to say my name, because my brain more than likely will come in and cut the air off, and then I have to start kind of all over trying to get my name out. So I want to maintain airflow. I want to create a smooth flow of air, a smooth, continuous flow of air right into my name and through it. So I don't want to use introductory words and then stop before my name. I want to use introductory words or word and blend or link my name with that, right? This is regular speech. This isn't anything strange, right? This is just normal speech. So the statement that you make, it's an affirmation, it's a goal that whenever I have to give my name, I will breathe. Again, you can say I will breathe, I will take a breath. For some of you, it might just be I will relax. That may prompt you to breathe. But let's say I will breathe and use introductory words to blend my name with. Sure, it's Michael Williams. Sure, I'm Michael Williams. My name is Michael Williams. It's Michael Williams. Yes, it's Michael Williams, right? Yes, Michael Williams. Okay? So, sometimes they'll say, can I have your name? Yes, it's Michael Williams. That's a perfect response, right? Just say, Michael Williams, Michael, right? Because I don't even like saying it that way. I'll generally, like 99% of the time, I don't know if it's 99, might be 95, might be 100. But generally speaking, I'll use introductory words, not because I have to, because I don't have a problem saying my name, but I'll use it because I like it. I remember answering the phone. I used to have a problem, right? Many, many years ago, but now I just like to say, yes, Michael Williams. Yes, this is Michael Williams. Yes, hello. Or sure, it's Michael Williams, because I just like the way it sounds. So there's nothing wrong with you using introductory words or phrases, even if everyone else around you is just giving their name, and you're like, well, it's going to seem strange if I say yes, or sure, or it's, or my name is, when everyone else is just giving their name. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. Two things, one of which I already said. What's more strange if you get stuck and everyone else is giving their name, but you're stuck because you're inflexible and you said, I have to give my name, so you're putting pressure on yourself and your brain is saying, well, you can't just give your name, you're going to get stuck, and then you get stuck. Is that more strange than you adding a word or two and giving your names smoothly or relatively smoothly, right? Which is more strange? Which is more embarrassing? Using a couple of words, giving your name, or getting stuck and having everyone sitting there looking at you and waiting? Well, I can tell you it's the latter one. It's the getting stuck that's going to be more embarrassing. And the truth is, no one's really going to pay attention to you if you use a word or two. They've got other things to think about. They may pay attention to you if they see that you're hesitating and you're having a hard time and you're moving your lips and your face, or you act like you forgot your name. So one of the things that we have to do in terms of changing the stuttering mindset, because a part of the stuttering mindset is this inflexibility, is this limited view that states that I have to say it like this. I have to say it exactly like this. And I have to say it right now. I have to say it quickly. I have to speak quickly because people are not going to listen to me. I can't say any introductory words because I just have to come out and say this. I can tell you that all of that is not true. The only time that's been true, and even then there are flexible ways of doing this, is when I was in the military and I had to give a command, right? And even then you can make sounds to get yourself into that word, but that would be the most strict time where you can't say a whole bunch of stuff before you give that command. If you're not in the military and you don't have to give a command, guess what? You have some flexibility. And even if you are in the military and you have to give a command, there's still some things that you can do to create that flow and rhythm. So I want you to think of this in terms of being more flexible with your mindset, changing your mindset. I want you to think about water. how water flows. It doesn't just get jammed up and let's in a dam and then it's still moving around, right? So water flows, it finds its way around, it finds its way over or under or eventually through. It doesn't just stop. Okay, I'm just sitting here now. No, it's going to keep flowing. It's going to keep moving, right? If you look at the ocean, look at a river, stream or whatever, it's moving, it's finding. So think of your speech like a river that's flowing. And if there's an obstacle, it flows around it. It goes over it. It doesn't just stop. So you have to be more flexible in your thinking and how you say something, throwing in a sound here and a word here. If you listen to how people speak, how other people speak, you'll hear them. Let me see. Well, I think I'll take, oh, sure, it's Bobby Jones, right? You know, whatever, it's Raj. So you'll hear people use those words and you probably haven't noticed because you weren't really wanting to pay attention to that, but just notice how people speak and how they introduce their phrases and their sentences, and you'll find that people use transition words, they'll use filler words, they'll use introductory words, and all kinds of different things. So here's what I want you to remember in the second step. So the first step was what? It was awareness. You have to become aware of when it's happening, how you're feeling, what's going on. Second step is we're going to set an intention, or in this case, it's a habit stack where you're going to say, every time I introduce myself, every time I say my name, I will breathe and use introductory words to blend with my name, right? However you want to put that. Now here's another example. This is a broader example. Every time I open my mouth to speak, or whenever I open my mouth to speak, I will remind myself to breathe, relax, and blend my words. Okay. Again, you can modify this, but whenever I open my mouth to speak, I will remind myself, or I will remember, or I will, right? So let's do all three. I will remind myself to breathe, relax, and blend my words. Whenever I open my mouth to speak, I will breathe, relax, and blend my words. Whenever I open my mouth to speak, I will breathe, relax, and model. Do you get the idea? Whenever I open my mouth to speak, whenever I speak, I will breathe, relax, and model. So, various ways that you can say it. I've given you lots of different ways. Go back, watch the video. But this is an affirmation, right, that you want to start saying to yourself, okay, whenever I open my mouth to speak, I will breathe, relax, and blend my words. I will breathe, relax, and model. I'll breathe, relax, and inflect my words. You don't even have to say breathe and relax. We just find that breathing helps most people. I will remember to blend my words. I will remember to model. Whenever I have to speak, I will remember to model. You can even pinpoint it to a particular time and place, right? Whenever I speak to my boss in the morning, I will remind myself to breathe and extend my words, or breathe and blend my words. Do you get the idea? So you keep saying this to yourself all throughout the day. And what will begin to happen is when you go to open your mouth to speak or to speak to your boss, boom, it'll pop and go, oh, I'm supposed to remind myself to breathe, relax, and blend my words. So the more you do it, the more you remind yourself, the more likely it is that you will do that. Does that make sense? So very, very simple step. You want to set an implementation intention. You can use habit stacking where you're stacking it with something, with habits that you already do. So if you already speak during the day, that's a habit, right? If you already speak with someone in the morning time, that's a specific habit, something that you do. You're stacking in this new habit. Whenever I speak with Raj in the morning, I will remind myself to breathe and blend my words. You get the idea, right? So, when you do this, what you're going to find is if you continue to do this, you're going to find that you start creating a new pattern of speaking and changing your mindset. So you're going to start to see that, hey, I actually am able to speak smoother. You're going to be creating evidence that reinforces this new mindset that you're trying to create. Hey, wait a minute. In this situation, I actually am able to speak smoother. Aha, so I'm not totally out of control. My speech is not totally out of my control. I can control my speech, right? I can speak smoother. Does that make sense? So I hope that this was helpful. We're going to continue with this series, and in the next video, we're going to go a little further in how you can eliminate and change your mindset. I'm going to be giving you step 3, okay? Giving you step 3. So, for those of you that are out there and you want to accelerate your progress, right? You want to accelerate the time that it's taking you to improve your speech. And those are people like professionals. You're a professional. You have meetings and presentations going on right now. And every time you're unable to express yourself, to articulate your thoughts intelligently and clearly, what you're doing is you're making a negative impression on those around you. That's exactly what's happening. And it doesn't mean you're going to lose your job or anything, but for sure, if you're not able to communicate effectively, people are going to see you as someone that doesn't communicate effectively. And you may be the smartest guy in the room or the smartest lady in the room. So if you don't have time to mess around with this on your own and take months and months and probably years, most people take years, and you want to accelerate your progress, you want to go ahead and click the link or button in or around this video and book an assessment session with me, and just be ready to move forward to work with me one-on-one. Right? One of the best investments that you can make is in yourself. You can't look at this as an expense. This is an investment in your own speech that you can get a financial return from. By investing in your ability to communicate, you boost your confidence and you boost your ability to be perceived as someone with authority, as someone who's intelligent, and as someone who's valued more, right? Who's valued more and who will be paid more because of that value. Does that make sense? So when you invest in your speech, you're investing in yourself, and you can get an actual return on that investment. All right. So if you'd like to level up your speech, take your speech to the next level, and therefore take your life, your quality of life, and your income to the next level, if you're out there and you have interviews coming up, you have meetings coming up, presentations coming up, and you want to improve those, then you're going to want to book your assessment session with me, and just be ready to ask your questions and move forward. All right. My name is Michael Williams. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.